So the good news is I just bought multiple Pokemon collections recently, and I'm gonna show them to you today. The bad news is I'm a mush for brains, and I lost my DJI mic after the card show I went to yesterday. So I'm just gonna use my phone's audio. Probably not gonna be as crisp as you're used to in my videos if you are a regular viewer of the channel. Sorry, but I just wanted to get this video done. So first thing is a bunch of kind of modern Japanese sealed booster boxes. I don't know the names of all of these. I think this one's Ancient Roar. I have no idea what this one is, but cool box art with the Garchomp and Groudon and Jirachi. I think this one's called Wild Force or Cyber Judge, one of the two. I think that one's Wild Force. Obviously 151, pretty cool. I've got a bunch of those already. Also, we didn't include the acrylics. I wasn't expecting the acrylic cases, honestly. Didn't include them in the cost, so that was just sort of a nice little surprise. Yeah, so what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or so, I think. 9, if I counted right. 9 Japanese sealed booster boxes. And then we've got some slabs to show you. So the first one's a fun one here. A PSA 9 Gengar from Expedition Holo. I love this card. And it has a cool swirl right on the cactus here. So I've seen a copy a lot like this before, but I almost have half a mind to keep it, but I don't really collect, I binder collect my Gengars. So one thing I did buy for the PC, and folks have commented on like my buy percentages before, that they're like, oh wow, you'll buy from 75 to 100%. This is an example. I was kind of chasing this for a while. I only found some on eBay, never really got it to work out. Wasn't finding them at card shows. And yeah, this guy had this, and I told him I've been wanting one of these, so I will pay 95% of market. So I think it's a $200 slab. I preferred it in BGS to go with my Pikachu BGS 10 that goes along with this. And yeah, I paid 95%, so I don't know, 190 bucks or something like that. So that's an example of like, if there's something that I have found hard to find and I just want it, I will pay well for it. He would have taken less, but I was just happy to be at 95% on that. I was somewhere between this whole collection, actually, though it probably averages out to 70 something percent. Just for your context, I paid between 60 and 95%, with most things being like 75 to 76%, I think. So it's going to end up averaging out around that. We love these little guys, these Japanese SVG promos. I already have these, so these are going to be, going to the inventory. I'm going to set these aside. Pichu PSA 8, very nostalgic. I just love those, that sort of Neo File 2, I think is what it's from. I have the Charizard PSA 10 in my collection. Latias, I think it's a lower value slab. A lot of these lower value Japanese slabs, I think some of these have some value actually. Like I want to say this one's not super cheap, like maybe over $100, but anything under $100 I probably paid 70 something percent for. And now I straight up have not looked through these binders, and there was a lot of stuff. This was a person's entire collection I'm showing you that he was cashing out for a personal reason. So I have not looked through these. I also wasn't expecting to get the binders, which is a nice little added bonus, nice of him. They'll get put to good use for my collection and for vending. So anyway, all that to say, I honestly don't remember exactly what's in all this. I didn't look super closely. I haven't looked closely at any of these cards. Some of them I'll pull out today because I always just take a quick look at the condition of anything I get in a collection buyout like this. One of the benefits of doing a big collection buyout like this is, on the downside, you might take in some less desirable stuff, but occasionally you'll find really good stuff. And this is an example. I'm going to set this card aside because it looks pretty good. Oftentimes with these GXs, the way these borders are, the centering is really obviously bad. This one is definitely not perfect, but it's a lot better than I usually see. This could be worth grading. So I'm gonna do a bit of that, and I'm always transparent with people when they come by my booth or wanna buy from me or whatever. If someone reaches out and asks me if I have gradable cards or whatever, I always have gradable cards that I've chosen not to grade, but man, this one looks really good too. But the reality is, when I buy a collection like this, I am gonna do this. And you should assume most people who are like buying out collections, not everyone, but again, I would just operate on the assumption. Boy, this one looks really good. Setting that aside too. Operate on the assumption that the person, the vendor, whatever you want to call it. I don't really identify as a vendor. I identify as a Pokemon buyer and collector. But you should assume, boy, these look good. You should assume, gosh, this is going to take me, how many times am I going to start this sentence? Assume they have looked and pre-graded and pulled out anything that was an obvious 10 is what I'm trying to say. There's sort of like a factory roller mark there. I actually don't know how PSA treats those. There's some whitening. This one's probably kind of an edge. Like I probably won't grade that. I've also had people ask me what I'm looking for when I'm like pre-grading. I'm not an expert in this, but I might as well do that while we're here because it's gonna be a fun, chill video. First thing is from the front is the centering. You could tell this card is a little bit thicker on the right side of the border here. The top to bottom to my eye looks pretty good. Definitely a little thicker on the right side. It needs to be like 60-40 split. This might be kind of on the edge. And then obviously you got to look at the front condition. It can be a little tricky with these textured modern cards. But another thing I look at is these black corners, these like kind of glossier black parts. Very commonplace that there will be damage. This one looks actually really good. And then on the back, same sort of deal. I'm gonna look at the corners. See, there's like a little white, I don't know if you can see that, a little bit of whitening there. This overall looks pretty good. This little white thing that's kind of sticking out is probably what's gonna hold me back just because I take a more precision grading approach. There are people who, on seeing these two cards that I just said I'm not gonna grade, there are plenty of people who would just send them in anyway. I'm not one of those people. Anyway, I'm not gonna pre-grade every card here. I wanna get through the collection, but there is some fun stuff in here. Like this guy, I've actually never owned this raw, and this has a very high PSA 10 population and PSA 10 gem rate. The centering looks pretty good. There's like no scratching in the gloss there. It looks pretty good to me. There are sort of like tiny nicks that I can kind of see there. I bet they're not gonna come up on the camera, but honestly, this looks really good. I will probably grade this. So I'm gonna set it aside. I'll take a slightly closer look later. But yeah, let's just keep powering through here. Kind of fun selection of stuff. I remember this collection for the singles had a lot of like $20 cards. I will probably, I'm gonna definitely come back and revisit a lot of these. That Groudon's cool. I'm definitely gonna come back and revisit a lot of these illustration rares. They're very hard to grade, but because of that, the ones that are good 10 candidate, there's usually a big premium for the 10. Oh, cool. In Japanese too, I've never owned this in Japanese. One of the things I love about buying entire collections like this is seeing what the person liked and what they prioritize. Like Japanese illustration rares. Again, if you watch the channel, how many times have you heard me say Japanese illustration rares, especially if you're on a budget, and this guy wasn't necessarily on a budget from what I can tell, but if you're on a budget, like this is the best stuff to collect. A lot of these cards are like a few dollars. I think this Maryland English is worth more. I have no idea in Japanese, but Mousehold. I actually might keep that for my own PC. I don't think I have this Mousehold, and I have like a side binder with kind of just random lower end stuff that I just like, and it's got like Mouseholds in it. Cool, so a lot of Japanese illustration rares in this binder, a lot of 151 Japanese. These are they Master Balls? I can't tell. They are Master Balls. So Dragonite Master Ball, I do collect Dragonites. I don't think I've owned the Master Ball. I have half a mind to keep that. So I'm gonna set it aside as well. Jolteon Master Ball, cool. These are Master Balls as well. So again, we're all seeing this sort of essentially for the first time together. Can't remember if I have this Palmot in my Sleepy collection. I think I do. Because I did not super closely audit everything. Ooh, the Squovit is one I don't have in my Sleepy Arts collection. And I made a note to look out for it. So there you go. I did not recall that was in this. The reality is, like, when you're buying lots of collections, and this collection had hundreds of pieces in it, he sent me over a price charting list essentially, and that's what I went off of. Is the long and short of it. This King Gambit card is really cool. It's just not practical to condition check every single card before you buy it. It's not practical to look at every single card on the list and verify the price of everything. You sort of just, the reality is you kind of take a chance with some of this stuff. So some of it's a gamble. It tends to just work out in the end, especially if you buy from people who understand what near mint is. And I'll sometimes audit a few cards. You know, when I met up with him, I took a look for some of the higher end, you know, like the Gengar slab and stuff. Just want to make sure that stuff was there. It's Kirlian, Ralts, Gardevoir, super popular cards for great reason. I have them in my collection already, but these sell fast for me every time I'm vending, or people just want them, which is understandably people want them. I'm actually going to zoom this out a little bit more for this binder. Cool, the Obsidian Flames Charizard. So again, I'm going to come back through these and condition check for anything that's really obviously a 10 candidate. A lot of awesome illustration rares and stuff. Man, it's just fun to see. Oh, here's this Mousehold in English. Maybe I will, if I don't have one of these, I'll keep one of them probably. I just really like this card. Mousehold's a hilarious Pokemon, and that is a great rendition of Mousehold. Anyway, just rambling and enjoying this collection. So I mentioned I was going to share it. Love this Heracross card. Also have it in my personal collection. I said I was going to give you some information on pricing here. I paid $4,188 for this collection. Move these for some more light. And I think the market value of them was in the mid fives, 55 to 5,800. And again, like when I'm buying a big collection like this, I will usually pay, for a variety of reasons, I will pay a slightly lower percentage than I would for like a few slabs at a show. And a big part of the reason for that is, for one, it's really convenient. It's really advantaged for the seller. Like, he just gets to liquidate this, right? It would take him a long time to sell all this himself. I mean, I guess you could bring this could be inventory at a card show, but it would take you you would lose many weekends to not sell all of this, and you're still not getting 100% of market probably anyway. Or not probably, you're not getting 100% of market anyway. So I'll pay a lower percentage when I'm buying a ton at once. And then the other thing is I'll pay a lower percentage for a big lot like this because I'm taking a chance. Like, there's just a 100% chance that there's stuff in here that we thought was near mint and it's not. And it's not that they're not trying to scam me or anything. Most of the stuff I've looked, again, I pulled some stuff out to grade. Like I think there's going to be more gradable stuff. This could build a shipment for me. Anyway, yeah, when you're buying a big lot like this and you're not looking closely at every single individual card, because again, it's just not practical to, you're just going to take some L's. Like, I just know there's going to be some stuff in here that I probably would overpay for if I paid 90% of a near mint price. So as much as I'd love to give everybody 90% and then I still somehow sell everything for 100%, I would definitely lose money. Like, definitely lose money. Other than grading, I guess I shouldn't say definitely. Hitting a handful of 10, like this Pikachu hitting a 10, maybe like that I could pay 90% for the whole collection. A few good things hit 10s, sure. But I bought collections before and like hoping that I was gonna find gradable cards and pulled out like one gradable card. So anyway, this one I already did pre-look at. I am planning on grading this one. These Japanese cards tend to be in great condition. I'm gonna zoom back in because this one is just singles. So you got the Eevee Master Ball, the Umbreon from Terrastal, gorgeous card. If you watch the channel, you know I have a bunch of these in PSA 10. Jolteon. I had another one of these the other day. At one point, I guess yesterday, I had 4 Jolteons. Alolan Executor, I have that, Japanese in a PSA 10. This is the Battle Partners Iono promo. This is, by the way, I should have been clear. This is from a different collection now. This is a separate collection, some accumulated, not an entire collection, but the way the other one was. The one I just finished, I think was that literally all the Pokemon product that guy had. This one is just some stuff a friend has accumulated. He sold me stuff before, and I just thought I'd throw it in this video because there's some cool stuff in it. Duskull, another popular, like pretty close to, some of the only stuff that people want out of Shattered Fable is that Dusclops trio and the Persian. This Cleffa. There's part of me that almost wants to keep it because I traded a Cleffa that my wife and I pulled from the first ETB we opened when we got back into Pokemon a year ago. And there's part of me that, like, sentimentally, I'm like, maybe I should have kept that. I guess I didn't know at the time what a thing it was going to become again. I just thought, I'm pulling cards, I'm going to card show, I'm trading some low value stuff. Like, I just didn't even think that I would ever potentially want. That Cleffa and Blitzel, things are Obsidian, Obsidian Flames. Suicune V from Crown Zenith. Sudowoodo, a really good illustration rare. Chansey, another great one. I got one of these at the last show, and I think my brother-in-law bought it from me immediately. It never even made it to the table. Blaziken V, this one, a little top heavy on the centering, but I have had a lot of success creating these. Crown Zenith, quality control, just been pretty good. Urshifu, not a Pokemon I care about, but there are a lot of cool Urshifu alt arts, kind of objectively like nicely done arts. Rotom, Regidrago, yeah, I mean, just, you know, I get it. If you love this card, sorry, this is like one of the worst alt arts ever. I just have a Pokemon that like I have no connection with. Ooh, a Sleepy Boy. I don't think I have this. I'm gonna set that aside, and then we can look. By the way, maybe I'll add it to this video. I'll take a look at my collection and see if see what I got right and wrong here. Golisopod. I think there was one of these in the other collection too that I just looked at. Koraidon, Miraidon, Ninetales, Skarmory. What a cool art. Braviary, Blood Moon, Ursaluna. These Terastal Japanese SARs, for the most part, all the non-evolution ones, really great value, honestly. I think like that Ursaluna is like under $10 unless I could be wrong, but man, these UPC promos, the UPC I think is like $300 now. Costco couldn't get rid of them for like $100 not that long ago, and this card was like $4 or $5 for the longest time. I think it's $30 now. Pretty wild. This one I almost I took a look at some of these earlier, and this one I almost set aside to grade, but it has, I'll just show you this one on the previous topic about what I look for when I grade. And there's this thing that happens sometimes with cards from the factory. Let's see if we can capture this. They get these roller marks at the bottom, and it's super consistent. Like you just see this pattern on enough cards and you realize like this isn't someone who was like sticking them in and out of a sleeve or something like that. Like this is from the factory. Again, like I said, I don't know how PSA treats like factory damage like that. It's roller marks from like the cutter. Hopefully, I think you can see that. If not for that, the centering on this card is super good, and there's no whitening on any of the corners. So I decided not to take a chance on this one just because of the roller marks. But again, there's people out there who would take the chance on this. But you do see this, unfortunately, and for me personally, I don't grade those because to me they read like damage. Like why wouldn't you mark it down if you're PSA grading cards? Like I think it'd be fair. I think, yeah, I just said another one of these. So here's a card I've never owned, and now I've owned it twice, and now I have it twice immediately. Very cool card though. Like I've never really looked closely at this one. Tyranitar and Sableye partying over these gems, kind of cool. Same thing as Mewtwo from the 151 UPC. Another one of these Groudons. My wife pulled one of those back when they were like $40. Maybe they were like 20, 40. No, I think they were 40. And now I think they're like twice that. Latios, Darkrai from, I believe that's Crown Zenith, Rayquaza, a lot of good stuff. Sawsbuck, man, a lot of these are such great cards. There's just a lot of good stuff in modern Pokemon cards to like. This Tyranitar goes with the Groudon. A random vintage Houndoom for any Houndoom collectors out there. And then Charmander from 151. Someone asked me about this the other day, and I said I didn't have it, but it was because I hadn't looked through this, and now I'm seeing that I do have it. That's everything. So this lot, I think I paid 600 something for about 800. I think this was $800. So, and there's a bunch of other little stuff that I took out just because I didn't think it would be that interesting to look at. Like, I have like a bunch of copies of sealed promos and stuff. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if the stuff that I set aside for my personal collection, if I am right that I don't have these, and we'll add them into the binder if I do need them. I'm also gonna go grab the Pikachu that goes with this Cramorant. So if you don't know about these cards, you can see them together, and you can see why, I mean, maybe you'll see why I prefer them in the BGS slab. Let's zoom this thing back out a little bit so you can see the entire binder, or at least some of it. I don't even think we're gonna get the whole binder. Look at those gold stars. Okay, we are skipping to Sleepies. Yes, we are. Okay, so I did have that Palma. Glad I didn't pull that out. This Squovit, though, I don't have. I don't have, indeed. So, here, let's see if I can get this even more in frame. That's the best we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna pull some of these non-full arts out. So some of these sleepy like commons and stuff, I put in a side binder, kind of that low value binder. This is the main personal collection binder. So that's a sleepy Squovit, and this is kind of exciting. If I pull out this Mareep and add this Drudagon that I don't have, this page, this spread is complete. I wasn't expecting that today, but there we go. So that's what one of the pages looks like, all these sleeping arts. And there's the other page with some alt arts at the top. Yeah, I love this. This is one of my favorite parts of my entire collection. Okay, let's go skip a little bit forward to some of my Dragonite stuff. I don't have Master Ball, and I'm only doing, here's another page getting complete. I am only doing these 2 pages for Dragonite. One of my top few Pokemon, but not my all-time favorite. So let's set that there, and okay, and then let's go to the kind of backup binder. Okay, this is a binder of just kind of lower end things, and but I just like them, so I have them. I don't look at this binder as much. Oh, I do have this one in Japanese. Okay, but not in English. I think just because I have it in Japanese and for me it's about the art, I'm not gonna add those back into my collection. And then, okay, so that's that. And then, I guess I don't really want to stack all those binders. This is what the Pikachu looking back and Cramorant look like in a BGS 10, and I really did want the same subgrades too, so kind of looked into that. I didn't double check the subgrades when I bought this collection because I was going to take the Cramorant either way. I just think with the gold, they just look really good, so I'll probably get another gold graded guard for this Cramorant, and they'll go on my wall with the slabs. But man, if these aren't 2 of the best cards ever made, I don't know what is. They just are. Okay, y'all. Hopefully that was interesting. I think that was something like $7,000 of cards that I paid $5,000 for, give or take. And again, some of it's a gamble, like just didn't audit. I didn't audit any of it. I just bought them sight unseen, and you take a look at them and maybe you get lucky, you pull out 10 cards to grade and they'll do well. And then some things are gonna be like beat up and you take an L on those. It's just the way it goes. But it's just it's a way that I am fortunate to be able to buy cards and interact with the hobby and build inventory and build my collection, as you saw. Only a few things, but that's a big win. At this point in my collecting journey, there's not like a ton that I want, so it's just getting harder and harder to like find things I want to add to this binder. And yeah, so if I can buy a collection like this and sort of be pleasantly surprised like that, add a few things. Obviously this Cramorant I knew I was getting. Yeah, then that's a win. All right, y'all. Enjoy. I hope the audio is okay. I'll see you soon.